It's Saturday, February 17th, 2018. And welcome to my Saturday show, which is my 10's. This is 10 of whatever I want to talk about. 10. You'll see, it's going to be Dynasty Warriors. We're still talking Dynasty Warriors. Why? Because I'm still playing it like crazy. So, yes, I'm going to give you 5 yeses and 5 nos to this game. 5 reasons to buy it and 5 reasons to maybe wait. Maybe wait until it's on sale. Because right now, I like the game. I really do. I'm a Dynasty Warriors nut, though, and I'm also a grinder, which means I can do the same thing in a video game over and over and over again for hours on end and still be content. Because at the end of the day, when I get off from work, sometimes I just want to have mindless fun. So we're going to do the 5 no's first, and then we'll finish it on a positive. So I have played this game now for about 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours. And I'm still having fun with it. But here are a few of my complaints. At number 5, some characters take way too long to unlock. There is no reason that in a game this gigantic that I have to wait almost 12 chapters to unlock some of these characters. Now there's one character, I'm not sure, but her name is Wang Yuanji, and she's one of my favorite characters in the game. But she takes a long time to unlock, and you have to go through a lot of story to get to her. On the other hand, one of my favorite character in all Dynasty Warriors games has always been Lu Bu. And usually, he's a little further down the road to unlock, but he was available after Chapter 2. But still, in these games, you shouldn't have to grind for so long to get some of these characters. You have this giant character roster. Usually everybody has their favorites. And to make some people play for an extremely long time just to get to those characters, they might get bored and they may say, I'm not playing. I'm done. I'm out. I'm not going to sit there and play for 20 hours to get to the character I want to play as. Make it so that these characters unlock at a little, if you're going to go down one set of progression, say this is how it's going to be just to get this character, and you should have them unlocked within maybe 2 hours of gameplay. Some of them are taking way too long. Number 4, too much story. Now this is a good thing and a bad thing, and I'll tell you the good part of it in the next part of the list. But there's a lot of story in this game. Now, we've all seen this. If you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, if you're watching this video, you've probably played a lot of Dynasty Warriors games, so you know the Three Kingdoms saga pretty well. In this game, there is so much story. There is constant. When they sit and yik-yak with each other and start talking, at first I was listening to everything. I wanted to know, and it's like, well, I know this stuff. I played these games, and I just started hitting X really fast. And then I found out you could hit start and go to skip. And then you would skip the entire thing. It's too much story. There's way too much dialogue. It takes too long. And it's, the voice actors, they're all talking really slow for some reason. And it just takes forever. There's too much story. You don't need to set this up with so many in-game cutscenes. You could basically just give me a screen that says, you know what? These guys are doing bad things. Go get them. This over here, go stop them. That's it. That's all you really have to do. Number 3. Now, number 3 on the nose, pop in. Dynasty Warriors doesn't have a great history for its graphical prowess. Their engine usually chugs quite a bit. And in an open world game, when you really start looking, the vast expanses will kind of be out there. But you'll see these weird little shadows in the distance marching very slowly, and it's like groups of soldiers, and it's just the weirdest looking thing. They almost look like ghosts. They almost look like black shadowy ghosts way off in the distance, and they're all moving in perfect succession, kind of just bouncing on the horizon. It looks weird. And I mean, it's a problem with Dynasty Warriors games. We've all known that, the pop in and the slow down and things like that. When you have so much stuff on screen at the same time, I don't know if even the Frostbite engine or the Unreal engines could keep up with with what Dynasty Warriors and Tecmo Koei and Omega Force try to pull off. If anybody can create a game engine that makes a Dynasty Warriors game not chug at their, they'll make billions. They'll make billions. Number 2, the voice acting. The voice acting, the American voice acting is it has got to be the worst I have ever heard. And there are some very dramatic moments in this game where the voice acting is, it's embarrassing to listen to. It's like, it's almost like that uncomfortable feeling you get when it's like, somebody's worked on this, somebody's worked and done their job, but it's so bad that you want to just look away, and so you just hit start and skip because you can't watch it. It's terrible. The voice acting is awful. If you're going to play this game, my recommendation is do it with the subtitles and do it with the Japanese voice acting, because unless you speak Japanese, you're probably not going to realize if the voice acting is good or bad or not. I know I don't. I mean, the Japanese voice acting, all I do is read the text at the bottom, and the voice acting to me sounds natural, but that's because I don't speak Japanese. So it's easier to listen to the cutscenes and just kind of read what's going on. It'll probably save you a lot of, it's cringeworthy. The voice acting is cringeworthy. And I don't know if Omega Force and Tecmo Koei did this because they've always kind of had bad voice acting. Remember, the Resident Evil games kind of held on to it for a few installments because it was kind of kitschy. This they need to dump. They need to get rid of the bad voice acting because there is no reason for the voice acting to be that bad. There are a lot of very good voice actors out there. Give them a few takes and they'll get it right. But it sounds like every one of them, as soon as they read the dialogue correctly once, that was it. We're out. And the number one bad thing about this game, you cannot change your character midstream. Now, if you want to play as another character that you've unlocked, you can start the story over with that character and go play them, and you lose some progression. Once you beat one part of the story, you can go into free mode, and you can build up your character that way. But you cannot, just playing the U part. It's like, I have Sun Jian, I have Hongai, I have Cheng Pu, I have all these different characters, but I started as Sun Jian, and now I can't use any of those other characters. It's like, why not give me the option to be able to use somebody else in the story that's still pertinent to the story? You've still got those characters there. They're involved in the story, so why not let me at least change to the characters you're bringing into the story as you go? But they don't do that. You basically only play as Sun Jian through his entire story. That's a little on the grating side because you really want to change characters sometimes, because in the old Dynasty Warriors games, you picked a level, you picked a chapter, you picked whatever, and you went into it, and they would usually give you 3 or 4 characters you could choose, or you could just choose from anybody in the roster of Wu or Wei or Shu, and they would tell you, well, since you're not taking Liu Bei, he's the one that has to survive, so you need to use Guan Yu to protect him or something like that. But you would at least get to choose other characters. So that's a big no. I mean, it's I get why they did it a little bit, and I'll get to that in a second. So we're going to go to the yeses. We're going to finish this on a positive. Here's my yeses. These are the reasons I love this game. At number 5, now remember when I said there was too much story? There is too much story, but there is a story for every character. So this is why that first one, there's a little bit of cut down on the dialogue, because every character's got their own story. So there's no reason to have so much dialogue. Every character has a story that you can finish. Every character. That is awesome. I mean, there's always a lot of characters in Dynasty Warriors games, and every character has their own story. So whatever character you choose, once you unlock them, you can play through their little story. Which brings me right into number 4. Giant roster. All Dynasty Warriors games have giant rosters. This one is no different. 90 to 100, somewhere in there. I don't know the exact number. I'm sure I'm sure some DLC will come out that'll add a few more, or they'll have an Extreme Legends or something like that that'll add even more to it. Huge roster, lots of characters, lots of characters. Right now in my mind, I want to play every character and play through all their stories. That's how much fun I'm having. I don't know if you'll have that same fun, but that's the kind of fun I'm having. We'll see if I get 100 hours into it if I'm still having that much fun. But right now, I'm loving it. The third thing, we're on number 3. There's a lot to do. There really is. There is hunting, there is fishing, there is of course crafting, there is hunting down there are big bosses out in the middle of the free world out there. Big bosses that, I mean, they are tough. They are tough bosses to beat. They will take you down, and they usually have a lot of people around them. But there are there are big animals out there that you can go after, that will give you a little bit more. There are hidden treasures out in the middle of it. There are tons. There's just a lot to do in this game. That the world is big, but there's lots to do. So that can be a problem a little bit, because it's like you're supposed to be going over here and helping your team, but you decide that you want to take down some bandits that might have some cool stuff. So, because you're riding through the forest and you just stumble onto him and you go, I want to go get him. I want to take him on. You guys can hold those bad guys off, right? Just a little longer. Just a little longer. I'm going to take him out and I'll be right there. I promise. Number 2, the open world. And I touched on that a little bit with it is gigantic. I have still not opened up this whole thing, and I panned the camera all the way out to look. It's huge. I mean, it's not as big as China, of course, but it might be the biggest open world game I've ever played in. It is huge. It is the size of like an MMO's open world. It is so expansive. I mean, I cannot believe I've played the game for a lot of hours, and I've been to a lot of places, and I still got all this dark area everywhere where it's like I still have to go, and you can see underneath little towns, and you can see little watchtowers and little pockets of things that are needing to be done, underneath the darkness, and it's like, I still haven't gotten to that. But the open world is so huge. I mean, it was ambitious for them to do this, which I think is going to set them up for their future games. I think they'll polish this up a little bit and make it better. But this is their first attempt at the open world, and they have made a giant open world, and there is a lot in it. So there's a lot to do, and it's huge. And here's the number one thing. This is the number one thing, and I was worried about this. It's easy. If you're like me and you're not looking for a challenge in video games, you're just looking for the game to be fun and to be a time sink for you, you can put this thing on. There's 5 different levels. There's chaos, there's hard, there's normal, there's easy. I'm trying to keep my fingers, I should stop doing it. And then there's beginner. And it's like, even in beginner, you can still take on some of those bandits, those really hard people that are out in the middle of nowhere that are very tough, the bandits and the assassins and the bigger animals. They'll still give you a challenge if you want it, but you can just ride past them if you really want the game to be easy. And most of the bosses, I took a boss I took my character who was 10 levels lower than the boss at the end of the level, and I still was able to beat him. It was tough. It wasn't easy. I should have grinded a little bit before I beat that part of it, but I just started getting tunnel vision and I got to go right for the objective. Because I really wanted to basically open up the world a little bit so I could play as other characters, because I was getting bored with playing Sun Jian. So it's like I just started trying to finish the story so I could go play somebody else. But it is easy. If you're looking for a game that's just mindless fun and you're not looking for challenge, it's easy. If you're looking for challenge, put it on chaos. You'll get your challenge, and the game becomes a little bit more technical. So there it is. That is a list of 10 things, my 10s. 5 negatives, 5 no's, 5 yeses. I love the game. I still say if you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, buy it. The people that are giving it bad reviews, they say they like Dynasty Warriors. I'm not so sure they do. So with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.